I mean, it's not the best timing in the world, but I promised the little child that I'd make it to one of her birthdays.
Good for you.
So,
And I hope you make it.
yeah, no, her birthday's next week, and I said, you know, it's not worth going if we don't spend it. So we're gonna spend it. I thought, you know, as things work out, it's not. That's okay.
In this time of year.
No. And it's raining. Yeah, well, it's raining like crazy out there. Raining. In California. Yes, it's, yeah. Yeah, and all of that. They could be in California, which they're not. They're right below Mount Baker. They're in between Bellingham and Mount Baker.
Okay.
And it's a wonderful farm. And it's a big old farmhouse. So, you know. Whoopsie, but this is what's been happening.
Picture in the summer, I'll change it to a summer one.
Yeah,
I was seeing picture.
we're gonna kill that. Just a minute.
I can barely hear it. Can you turn it up?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you see, I have trouble finding it in the house sometimes, so. I give it the most volume I can possibly give it.
That's our final electrical today.
For Strauss Park?
Yeah, I just need to go ahead and, you know, clean up a bunch of paperwork and.
Good.
Yes, but I've been spending the whole day doing cleanup. Yes.
That's great. Good news.
Yeah,
Do we have a meter?
oh, yeah.
Why good? They've been supplying us with free electricity.
We probably be here till next year.
That would be okay. That would be just.
Hello.
All right. I turned it off. Did I put it away? God, I shouldn't yell out.
No, I shouldn't be out.
Are you level?
There is. It's better in the morning and then it starts to kind of come back. And even like right now, I definitely got it, but it's not as bad as it has been. So I'm hoping that it's gradually going to phase out. I mean, it'd be weird. You told me. Yes.
Slightly waiting.
Texting, but, you know, I didn't think that it's going to be an instant, thing. So if it'll phase out, I'll be happy with that. I don't know.
Oh, to you.
What's my email? Here's the placement.
I did. Yes, I did.
Oh.
Cheese.
It went exactly where you would. However, I think she was.
Yeah.
Not yet.
And we'll talk about it.
Hey, Betsy.
Yes, yes. Give it to me.
Just tonight.
Right.
It's true. You yeah. The giant goes,
People that are.
no, this is all mine.
This area looking like they should. They show up.
Right, but we also have to prove that. We'll get to.
Should we start?
Sure.
Because.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. And would you please take the roll?
Joan Keating, here. John Clutt, here. Sam Haley,
Here.
Betsy Blakely, here. Mark Reynolds,
Here.
Bob Hamilton.
Here.
Frank Hansen.
Here.
And can we get approval of the agenda?
That we should discuss at the end of the applications, we should discuss the Board of Selectmen meeting from
Okay.
Tuesday night relative to the FAR.
Right.
Ordinance 5. I would think we should do that.
All right, anything else?
Tracking items fell off the agenda. Items that we track every meeting.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, so we should have a tracking item. There is sort of a report on some of the tracking items.
Do you know what it was?
Yeah, the. In the mega. How do I pronounce the name? With the door.
Oh, yeah.
Margaret.
Oh, the one that you know.
Margaret.
Yeah.
Okay,
They have sort of abandoned the
Okay.
idea of the door, so they say they don't need to be
do we know,
tracked anymore. Jennifer did
do we know
contact.
that that one is just already been put up?
Yeah, and she also was going to contact Mike Huggins, and because he was to apply for a enforcement. I don't know whether she made that contact. An encroachment license. He was supposed to apply for an encroachment.
Oh,
license.
yeah, okay.
And I don't know whether, whether that's in the works or it's not in the works. So there's no report on that one at this point. And it was.
You haven't seen it, right? Okay.
Dumpsters looking for a tracking one.
And I don't know where we are in dumpsters.
I'll find out from Tim.
Okay,
You got that into the big one downstairs, all that stuff.
all the dumpsters. The Sean Platt famous dumpster list.
Yeah,
Did we approve the dumpster enclosures and the new lighting and all that, or did they have to come back with something?
They can't come back with the lighting.
Yeah, I thought that was tabled.
oh, the dumpsters were okay, but the lighting had to come back.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Lighting has to come back.
Okay, is there a motion?
We approve the agenda. With the added additions.
I'll second. All in
We should
favor?
put tracking it.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Audience business, you guys both on the agenda, correct?
We said, yes.
Okay. All right. Old and new business, Clear Creek County, 1111 Argentine. Is that either one of you? No, sorry.
Is it anybody who's online?
On the screen there.
Yes.
Oh, yes, okay. Can we turn the volume up a little bit? Sorry. Speak out.
Hi, Paul Scheidegg with Home Depot.
Hang on one second. We're adjusting the volume there a little. Can you hear us okay?
Yes,
Okay.
Is he, we want the person from, is he with ChargePoint?
I believe there's two of
no,
them.
with Home
Okay.
Depot. There's a window
Can't hear.
project.
He's a Home Depot guy with the sliding light.
Yeah, we would need the ChargePoint person.
Can you talk again?
Are you muted?
Ginger, I think is the person I'm trying to hear.
Yeah. Ginger, are you muted?
I,
She is.
Because we're starting with ChargePoint, right?
Right. So Paul, we'll get to you.
It
in a
doesn't
minute.
show that she's muted
Okay.
here.
okay,
We'll get to you in a minute, okay?
all right, good, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so,
Is she muted at her end?
Probably. Here, it says she's connecting to audio, so maybe
yeah,
let's give it a shot.
she didn't sign in as a audience, did she?
She's not muted on my end,
Her-
or that I can see even on her end.
Looks like she's pixelated too. She's coming to us anonymously.
Technology's great when it works.
Yeah.
We love it when it works.
Nothing bad. He's right in front of the town. We narrated with one million.
Oh, on the way down.
Oh, I should be able to hear that.
Yeah. So Ginger, we still have no volume on
Yeah,
you.
she did call it.
Who would she call? I don't have my phone.
There's a number on the agenda.
But there's not-
That's
what-
It says it's viewing by television calls some number.
Oh, no.
That since been
Um,
disappeared.
should we, have her call in?
There.
Oh,
You hear me now? Sorry about that. For some reason it wouldn't, it wasn't connecting.
okay, great.
You can hear me.
Yeah, that's the office, yeah, so. But call. Okay, so, I'm sorry, if you'll state your name and just tell us a little bit about your project. What we're
Sure.
doing here.
Yes, my name is Ginger Bodwin. I'm with ChargePoint, and I'm here to talk about the electric vehicle chargers we have currently installed. We're looking to upgrade those to the latest model. So we'll be installing some power cabinets and swapping out the stations. I know there was some discussion at previous meetings about locations and colors. So I'm here. I sent some information in. I'm not sure if everyone received it, with what the stations will look like, the location of all of the equipment, and then what the future skins that on the chargers will look like.
Okay. Susan, sorry, do you know if this is on?
I'm sorry,
The recording is it on?
I don't think so. That's Mark's job. Yeah. That's where you sit, and that's.
Can we ask?
Yes.
Are we waiting?
One second. So then goes. Okay, all right, we're good. Sorry.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Yes, yes.
Ginger, I don't know if you can see these. We have a picture of the new charge station in orange. And then we have a color sheet that shows green and blue and white. Okay, and it says that color sheet says it has a essentially sort of.
Yeah, we call those skins. So if I can just clarify, so that the picture that shows the station that's orange is just so you can see what the machine will look like. With electric vehicle charger is going to look like itself. And then what it says EXPP Clear Creek Proof. That's what, so if you can see the top portion here, I can share screen. Everyone can see what I'm talking about. Bear with me here. So I believe this is the photo that you were talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So this is what our standard machine looks like, but what we're going to be installing there in Georgetown is what I have. And I think let me know if you can see the proof that I have up now. I'm not sure if I shared
Yes.
screen or photo.
Yeah, we've got it.
Okay. So this white piece here will go in the top where you see the screen on the orange. And then the bottom piece where the actual plugs that go into the vehicles, this open space is where those are going to click in, and this is what the bottom will look like.
Hey, can you go back to the, all right?
So
And-
no orange is visible. Correct.
Yes, and that's not what we're installing. So it will be just like what the stations look at like that are out there right now. So I have a picture of that as well. Let me just enlarge that. So it's going to be, let me zoom, I apologize.
So,
are we having orange and blue or green and? Or what's
It'll be
happening?
white on the top, just like these are.
Okay.
And then the bottom will be this blue and green.
and how about the arm that sticks up?
This part
Um,
right here, I can
yeah.
make that either blue or green.
What is the function? What is the function of that arm?
It's cable management. So these cables don't hit the ground.
Okay, is that lit? Is there a light
No, it's
in that?
not. No.
Okay.
The lights, as you see, are right here, just this little piece on either side of that.
Would we really have that?
They will not be as bright as the existing ones, correct?
Correct. They will not.
The existing ones are too bright.
Yeah, because you got that whole light bar going across the top of the others. And those are removed. So this is not lit. And there's a light here, and then there's a light here.
So those are not so bright that they are visible in a bright parking lot. They're dimmer for here, correct?
Correct. Yes. They're lit up right now, if that gives you any indication.
And I would suggest that the top part go green to match the first top of the panel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So we're
we can
not,
do that.
blue, we're just doing green and blue.
yeah.
And the posts that we have out,
She registered that. She get that.
yeah, I think she said yes.
I'm sorry, are you talking about these, the bollards?
The bollards that we have now are white,
Those are staying.
so we're not getting yet.
What are those called?
They're bollards. So they're concrete here. It's really to prevent somebody from backing into the station.
Yeah.
Protection.
So bollards stay as white.
Correct. Yep, we're not changing the bollard. So what's out there right now is what will remain.
Now, there is a new power block,
Yes, I do have a photo of that as well.
and is there any new switch gear?
No, we're using the existing.
We would love to get the existing colored.
The existing was supposed to have been painted dark gray,
Yep.
and it was not painted dark gray.
I can look into that. I mean, I don't know that we have the ability to, I'll have to check and see from the manufacturer whether that can be painted.
So that's what was agreed to in the first submittal.
Dark brown or dark gray.
Yeah,
Okay. So this is what we'll be adding,
Just the small power block,
just the power block, correct?
and that's the piece on the ground.
That's this right here. Yes, this whole unit.
Oh, that whole unit. Yeah, well,
Yes.
that whole should be then in either,
So that needs to be colored as well, dark brown or dark gray.
So the
Not
issue that we have with that, I've spoken to our engineering because I did hear your request for that. So this is where all of our power, this is our power cabinet. So if you think about it like a server and for a computer, you have to keep the temperature controlled because there's a lot of electronics in there. And our engineers say going any darker than that is going to heat up the inside of that cabinet and cause our equipment to overheat. So this is as dark as we can go. It is a gray, but we can't go any darker than that or it's going to create issues from a heat perspective.
heat and estimate.
They'll effectively cook the equipment inside and cause it to shut down.
It looks like it's the same color as the transfer, as the switchgear.
No, it's actually, it is definitely a different color. Let me see if I can get the switch gear up next to it.
How does public service company do it though?
Yeah, I can't really.
They don't have the.
They don't have
This
the
is
level
all,
of
this is
electric.
all power electronic.
Okay. All right, that,
No, it
that's.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's not obnoxious and it's not shiny.
so
Yeah,
there's going to be,
it's definitely a matte. It's not a shiny finish.
so there's going to be 3 different colors of boxes then. But you've got the green Excel box, the current box that's out there that's a light gray, and you're saying this is a different light gray.
Well, I'm trying to see if I can get them side by side. My computer is not cooperating with me. So I guess they are pretty close. I mean, from here, I don't have them side by side, but they do look like they're a very similar color. And then the transformer that we don't control, obviously that's the utility. And that's green.
Transformers can be colored.
Ram it around.
I think I'm asking to make everything the same color other than the Excel stuff.
Yep,
Well, so what needs, this wood box needs to be changed then?
Whatever the switch gear is.
Going.
That's all.
So this is the switch gear. And your request is that this be painted the same color as the transformer?
No.
That would be.
Yeah, that's it, right there.
It's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just.
It's too dark.
So the new one.
Yeah. But the new one. and
the new
switch
one's set
gear
back.
would be painted the same color.
Right, so here's what's existing. So this is the transformer and then this is the switch gear.
Then your new power pods, could they be the same color as the switch gear?
Yes, roughly.
roughly.
I mean, I'm not on site. I mean, I can take photos of it and confirm and they're. it's gonna be
We're
very
asking.
similar. Could paint
We're
the
asking.
switchgear.
And is there any possibility of your coming on site?
Yes, I'm actually, right now, I'm waiting for confirmation about whether I'll be coming to Colorado, flying into, to Denver on, early next week. So there is I'm absolutely able to come out there if need be.
Be great. What we're trying to accomplish here, this is looking very industrial. And this does not fit in our community, so we're trying to mute this look of industrialization.
And not have a big row of different colored boxes.
Right, and we don't want a whole bunch of different colors.
Would it be
Yeah, I mean-
feasible? That's.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Open law.
Especially considering their layout doesn't match their plans that were approved.
Right.
No, it
So-
does, it does. I took a look at that, so you can see the switchgear pad is in behind where the switchgear is. So this is where the power block is gonna go. And it matches exactly what was, at least the approved set of plans that I have. If there's something that you have that's different, please let me know. I'm happy to take a look at that.
Plans that you have then.
So the question just brought up is how about just concealing all of this gear with some type of a fence? A wooden
So I
fence.
can't do anything about the transformer because of the
Why?
utility regulations. They have to have open space. But I can,
Well, we're not talking about enclosure, are we? Just a shield between the street view and the boxes?
No,
Never mind.
Pretty well screened on the backside.
Backside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Backside
It's
street.
right up against the creek and there's a lot of
yeah.
foliage and stuff back there, so.
something's off.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Chris.
Yeah,
That would have to be a solid fence. It could be,
Slats.
something.
Yeah.
be like down by the
Where we screened out.
Gas,
with
the gas.
Meeting
metering station.
in the state.
No, they have to be a screen outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we're not even talking a
One
fenced
side
in
screen.
enclosure, just a screen across the front there where those boxes would be visible to the traffic and the street view. So basically a one-sided screening fence, something slatted, not solid, and not chain link.
You're talking about in front of the switchgear and the power block?
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, they show on the picture of the power wall, there's a fence behind it. That kind of thing, that's
Yeah,
a
Okay,
similar type that we have down in
did you hear that?
the power.
The picture you have on the screen has a fence behind it. That's what we're asking, some kind of screening like that.
in front.
in front.
Just across the front.
Well, since it's in front of the chargers and not like on their plan that we have, it has to turn 90 degrees to go back to.
Yeah,
Oh, that power block.
or just paint them all the same, so whichever.
Yeah, well, they're saying,
Yeah, there you go. A or B.
yeah,
We'd be more than happy to meet with you if you come out, but we're either requesting you paint them all the same color. Or else you put some kind of fence in front of them. Or we won't call it a fence, we'll call it a screen.
screen.
Yeah.
And that could be 5 feet high.
So Ginger, is it Ginger?
Yes.
Yes, Ginger.
I'm Betsy. Ginger, do you have a context for the fact that Georgetown Silver Plume is a National Historic Landmark District?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
aware.
You're aware of that. So basically, we're not giving you commentary, which is, we want a fence or we're trying to make this pretty or what. We cannot industrialize the look of our town. It's inappropriate to all the work that we do to try to save as much historically as we can we're so happy to have these chargers here. It's fantastic. But somehow it just can't stand up like this. We've really got to have something happen, which was our conversation in the first meeting that we had. And there was all sorts of agreement about how that would not happen. So now they're in, and now what we're asking is, how do we minimize the industrialization look of this station without harming customers, et cetera?
Right, well, I would say that, you know, the power block that we have is designed to be, you know, appealing to look at. It may not be as easy to tell from the photograph, but I mean, it was designed to be, you know, appealing to look at. I'm happy to entertain the idea of screening. If you have something, are you looking for me to provide you with a sample of that, or you have something that you want to send for us to consider?
Send a picture.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could send us a picture.
Yeah, well, and we can send a picture of the kind of screening we have used for other items that relate to our electric and gas service, for example.
You know, if they
That
have,
would be very helpful, yes.
Do you think a vegetation screen would grow there?
No.
No,
And
Okay.
well, if it was evergreen, but you'd have to trim and prune it, or it would be, I don't. think-
actually, I'd ask them to move that power pod so everything lines up.
like it was supposed to be.
The original set of prints we have don't match what was built. And that's one of those power blocks is pushed way in the back. They don't line
Are you
up.
talking about what you can see on your screen right now, the visual?
Well, those align, but if you look to the left, the transformer and the, I don't know what the big gray case is, switchgear align, but they were supposed to all be set back behind the charging stations, and they're pulled out in front of the charging stations.
Which just exaggerates the industrial.
Right. Because the plans y'all had submitted and got approved last time showed it behind the charging stations.
For the original set of.
And then
They still back.
and that original set was resubmitted in December for this that we're talking about now.
Okay, yeah, the only plans that I have are match up with what we submitted. So I'll go back and look.
It shouldn't be too long.
You know, this was not my project back then, so I dug through the files, and everything that I could find lined up with exactly what I sent you. If you have those available, I mean, happy to take a look at that. But I mean, at this point, I think we have, the only choice we have is to either paint things or to screen them. Again, I'll confirm the utility, but I don't think I can put any screen in front of this. They have clearance requirements and they have to have service to it. So I can't do anything about the transformer.
So Ginger,
Would be
you
nice.
just said you actually can't move any of this stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it's already, I mean, what's existing here, these locations are fixed now. We had, I mean, there's wires. I mean, the utility's already wired everything up. These are operational stations.
But we in good faith identified that they needed to be behind. Now that they're in, you say that they're fixed. And now we have a situation in which we did not approve this plan that you implemented.
So again, if you have those plans, I'm happy to take a look at them. But the only plans that I have that showed approved were in the locations that they're constructed. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that I don't have access to that. So if you could share those with me, that would be helpful. And I'll try and see what happened.
Who was the person here in December? He submitted.
Disconnect in your company between the people who came in and we argued through all of this and the fact that you don't have those plans.
I mean, I've looked through the files and I didn't see any change in the locations. There were three versions of the plans. And they all showed both the transformer and the switchgear in that location. Like I said, I'm happy to research that.
Okay, at this point, it's there, and we're getting another box. We don't want 3 different colored boxes. And we would, the 2, not the Excel box, but the other 2, to be screened. This is not a right up next to it. It can be out in front between the parking areas somewhere, just so that they are not highly visible to traffic. And as you walk by.
But we would need to approve the screen.
Yes, we need to see what you would do with that.
All right, you said that you had an example that you could send me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I guess, should this be tabled? Yeah.
I make a motion to table this till we have more information.
Okay,
Second.
any more discussion, audience comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Ginger, we'll send you something, you send us something.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. You don't do those original plans, you just throw those out.
But at least this time we're talking directly to ChargePoint, because what happens is you get the gap between ChargePoint, who then hires a
Subcontract.
subcontractor.
Their responsibility.
Yeah, I understand it is the responsibility, but that's what happened though.
You have Amber Alerts or something? Amber Alert. Yeah. That was very, that was very-
That's a better one.
That should have been nicer than Ginger.
Let's move on.
Ginger did that.
Okay,
Up here on
Yeah.
921.
921 Main Street, who do we get?
That's the request for the.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reissuance, because this, yeah.
That's your, yeah. So,
This-
maybe you want to,
Yeah, I want to mention a couple of things, Brian. This isn't an extension. This is an expired, at this point, this is an expired certificate. And one of the things that was requested, or more than requested, said in bright yellow from our town administrator that this had to have a drainage plan. And I, for one, do not think we should reissue the certificate until we're really ready to go.
What are we asking him to do?
What are we asking him to do? We're asking,
With everything else when the engineer's done with it.
well,
We have to look at that.
but it has, what essentially this said was that this might not even, the drainage plan has to get approved by the town, is what it has to do in order to make this certificate worth anything. So I think the drainage plan clearly, it was written on our certificate that the drainage plan needed to happen. And, right now, this isn't, this certificate essentially is done because it's 180 days have passed. And I'm just suggesting that we assure that we have something that's ready to go.
okay, do you have engineers working?
I do have an engineer working on it. I just don't know why it's taking this long.
Okay, so we can table this. Do you think it's imminent or you don't?
I would say imminent. I mean, he builds stuff in this town. He knows how it works. So
Okay.
he,
Well, we can table it until next meeting, or you can just, reapply when you've got that all together.
Yeah, or we can say at this time, we're not reissuing, I would like to say that at this time, we're not reissuing a new certificate. You can always
Or
come back with it.
added information.
Okay, if we do that, then we're gonna make him jump through all the hoops again.
Well,
Can we use the
I
sites we had?
think we had an approval on it the first time, so we'll
That's
just
what
have
I'm
to
asking.
do that. It
Yeah,
would
we
be a
did
rubber
review
stamp.
that.
It would be a rubber stamp, but I
Yeah.
think we had everything except the drainage.
except for the drainage,
Yeah,
So,
I just think it's not a good
No, that's, I just wanted
for
to.
us.
so when it's complete with the drainage plan, we can see it. if you think it'll be in 2 weeks, you could come to the next meeting, and actually, if we table it, well, you just think it'd be easier to deny it this time, to not reissue
Yeah,
it,
it's simply you're not,
and then you
you're
come back with
you're
your.
not denying the project. You're
Technically,
simply
it
not,
expire at the end of the year.
yes, so we don't really,
But technically though, just to make sure we're all on the same page, he would not be able to submit for a month. Because we have a moratorium right now.
Okay, is with the moratorium,
On what?
yeah, well, and that we maybe should
The
have.
historic
done.
residential, we placed a moratorium on all new construction
Oh,
because of the floor area ratio and trying to get all that worked out.
so what we're saying is, we're gonna make him jump through all these new hoops if they pass now. Is that what we're gonna do?
So is
And I don't think that's fair to him.
Oh,
is it possible for us to say, that we anticipate complete approval, I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong terms, at the point at which you submit to us the drainage plan?
We can table with the applicant's agreement, and then the date that's on this stays the date that's on this. And it is
Considered in the
before,
pipeline.
it is before the moratorium date.
oh, good.
Does that make sense to you? I mean, the Board of Selectmen passed the moratorium on this on the 9th of January, and the date of this application is the 4th of January. So it would remain attached to this application.
Okay,
But I think we have to know that it's moving. It's not a good plan
So-
for us to reissue certificates.
okay, so
In general.
the table seems more appropriate that you
It's still
will,
active then.
that you
Oh,
will
still
be
active.
getting us that engineering report as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
And then we can
I
hopefully
would have it to you already and have building permit.
we understand.
I'm
No,
very
that
open.
was a contingency on the first certificate that we needed to see that, and since we haven't seen it yet, we do need to see it.
Yeah.
In order to go forward, I think.
in order for the, the COA to be valid, we need to sign off on that.
Yes.
Okay,
Let me ask you a question, if he had filed before the end of December, wouldn't we just extend the certificate another 180
if
days?
it was. an
It would
extension,
depend on whether we felt that was appropriate to do, but this one's expired.
We still
We're
have to change.
reissuing something that still does not meet the criteria that we set for.
I agree with that, but I mean, if we extend the certificate, it's a conditional certificate to begin with.
Yes,
It would give them more time,
but we can't extend it now.
and they wouldn't be filing a new application.
Well,
It's not,
yes and no.
yeah, but it's.
We can extend it if before it expires, but we can't extend it after it expires.
And that was my
Yeah.
question.
And so it's expired.
It's
Can we
expired.
make, I mean, is it appropriate to make an exception in that it was the end of the year when the paperwork came in?
No,
I think we get in a lot of, we're trying to mind our P's and Q's. If we have something that's expired,
we don't
we are
want to start
issuing
doing
it
that.
and we need something. And yes, he has asked us as of the 1st of January to issue this new something. So he doesn't, get affected in the same way by a moratorium that came after he asked for it, because anything that was applied for or, was to stay applied for. I'm just saying, we can't issue a brand new one, because it is a brand new one, until you covered what the conditions were on the other. It doesn't seem sensible to me to do that.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
my
a,
concern is by saying issuing a new one, it's essentially a new application. It would be subject to when the application comes in, be subject to whatever the rules are at the time.
but he's applied,
That it's in. That's
The
why we were talking
application
table.
is
Yeah.
in.
And as long as we table it, it will stay active.
That's the whole. that's all
Yeah,
the one we got right now.
Yes.
So now what you really need to put the pressure on, even if you have to go get somebody else to do it and get it done.
That's where I am right now.
Yeah.
To that.
Okay, cool.
Tomorrow is, I'm gonna put the screws on.
That your application is there. I mean,
Just in terms of our interaction with the customer,
Yes.
you don't know what the moratorium
I
is.
haven't heard about the moratorium.
yeah,
Okay, so he needs to know that we have a moratorium that was put in place because of something that we're going to pass to limit how huge houses can be in the historic district. And so there's a 30-day moratorium where we're gonna have some discussion, feedback and input, but that is the moratorium we're talking about. It's
Okay.
not related to you,
Okay.
and it's only for the historic district,
right?
and it's not for anything that has been in,
It's already in the pipeline.
that's in the pipeline.
Yes.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure that
But if he
clear that he's in the pipeline.
But if he was denied, then you would now be subject to the new standard,
Right.
which meant your house would have to be significantly smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why we're trying to protect you.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I think we put you through enough already. So just.
Wish we were moving through.
But your engineering report.
Yes.
You had everything you need but that engineering report.
Yes, the engineering report is all on me.
All right,
Great.
okay, so do I have a motion?
I make a motion to table this application.
Okay.
I'll second.
Any more discussion, audience comments? All in favor? Aye. Against?
Fine with that solution.
You're against?
No, I'm.
You just can't. That's better.
Click on the nays, okay,
So we'll just table this till the next meeting?
yes,
Okay.
We'll table it until you come in with, because we're tabling it with your permission until you can come.
I will be in the.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so if you don't make the next meeting, because we can't table things forever, but
right,
as long
Let
as
us
we have.
know if you can't do it.
I hope
Yeah.
to be your next meeting with all that.
Okay,
I think it would be good to, for the notes to reflect, the information that we gave to the applicant about the moratorium.
Yes.
yes,
And that, that specifically this is
it would affect this.
Prior
new
to the
application.
moratorium, so it's still in the pipeline.
Okay.
So there's no confusion down the road on that.
Right. I have an engineer that I know of that I think would be available if you need somebody, if you need help.
I'm going to contact you.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay,
Thank you for.
thank you.
Thank you.
okay, take it on that one.
Now we're ready for home Depot.
Okay, Paul, you still there?
It's 2:47.
Yeah, this is 247. Okay, wait, we're waiting for your sound.
Is this the Meadows residential?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the,
Sliding glass door replacement.
Okay.
sliding glass door replacement.
I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Go.
Okay,
Alright.
please state your name and the address of the property and tell us briefly what you're gonna do.
It's the homeowner is Deanna McGuire. It's 247 Clear Creek Drive in Georgetown. It's on the very east end of Georgetown. The last time we were here, her neighbor had a patio door. This particular customer has a patio door and two twin casement windows. They're on the back side of the house. They can't be seen from a road or any other location, but they're very energy efficient windows. They're Simonton windows, similar to what we installed with her neighbor at 249 Clear Creek Drive that you approved the last time I was in front of you. And so we just need your approval so we can move forward with installing the windows are sitting in the warehouse waiting to be installed. And so it's going to be orders of magnitude more energy efficient for this customer on the backside and more secure as well.
Okay.
Do we know what it looks like?
There's no picture of it. Somebody had it straightened out.
No, I didn't. even-
Yeah, I've got, book 3, chapter 12, section 3, page 93. We got A, window door opening should correspond with the overall directional emphasis of instruction. And B, metal, fiberglass, or vinyl clad windows and doors should have a matte and reflective finish.
Do these have a non-reflective finish?
Yep, they do have a non-reflective finish. So similar to the door that we installed at Janice Shearlaw's place at 249 Clear Creek, her neighbor. And they are vinyl. They're warranted for her lifetime and the next owner. So, and they have a U factor of 0.29 or lower.
Sean, do you have something about the window trim? And while you're signing, I think you're close. Okay.
Glass is non-reflective as well, right?
It's not reflective, no. And it has the silver oxide coating, so it will be a little dark shaded. So it's not very reflective at all.
Situation. What are you gonna do for window trim? Are you gonna use 1x4 around the window?
No, it's a pocket insert window. We're not going to disturb the window trim that's existing there.
With the window trim.
Okay.
So the existing trim stays.
It's just a straight window replacement. I mean,
It's just a straight window replacement. There's no construction.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, solves that.
all right.
okay. Make a motion that we accept the application from Jamie Reed for Dion McGuire for replacement windows at 247 Clear Creek Drive as presented.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion or audience comments? All in favor? Against? All right, thanks for waiting.
Thank you so much. Sure appreciate your time tonight. And you have a wonderful new year coming up too. I'm sure you'll have a busy year as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Take care. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
For electric. I mean,
Last but not so least.
Everyone's big stuff.
See, we do your last because the program.
You know, I would have just made start just generally, this project. We will be going back with, our contractor that we ended with the apartments. We're doing 300 units this year, in Woodland Park here, hopefully, and back in Winters. Everything is stick built. Montrose, we just finished 96 units. We completed those in 14 months. This, we will also be looking at a very short time frame. We will be looking at building these all simultaneously. Put all the foundations in at once. We would anticipate this will be done before the beginning of next year. What we did today is we got some completions that you all had great comments last time. And so about the site plan in particular, and we've revised our schematic with 5 different types of posts. And we have also Paul Grady online, who is our architect.
Is that identical to what y'all emailed?
What was the-
Because it wasn't last time.
Yeah, I know. Just check, we tried to say something in this. So the last time we had a road that went straight across for parking. We tried to change it up a little bit for you guys. We still have the same exact roads, which is required. we moved this building, turned it around so that there's a little bit of a different breakup of the parking and the site.
There's a considerably different breakup.
Yes.
The site.
That's an improvement.
This is truly from you guys' comments, and like I say, I think it's an improvement for me as a developer, and I think it works extremely well with the utilities that we currently have on site, and I think it'll really look nice.
Cindy, is this where the new sidewalks going?
Yes, this new sidewalk's going right down in front of it.
Okay.
And we'll have, the equipment here, so if there's any need to push things around, we can push them.
You mean that berm?
I know that's a nasty word, but if need be, we can trim that down. I mean, we can shorten it up. We can do what we need to do.
Yeah, because eventually we're
I
gonna
was
have
just
to
saying,
do what we need to do.
Well, of course, so we'll have that all, the site plan will be adjusted for whatever the town needs for the walk. And we'll push the dirt, fit whatever is needed.
So,
because
no,
I asked him last time to do,
There's definitely a plan of landscape today. We will not have a landscape plan.
but in other words, where the berm is right now, you're planning to landscape that?
Oh, we'd fully landscape that. Yes, that would be,
So, not really now.
no, it's not, we would leave a dirt mound. The issue is always what can grow.
Yeah.
The wind,
Without being watered.
I mean, it's tough. One, there's not water and and then the wind just dries up everything that's on that site. I think that there will be some help when we have the buildings up. And it will start breaking some of the wind, the apartments will start breaking up some of the wind. So I do think that that will help. We also did on this other parcel, cleared that property. We flattened out the piles of dirt. And we also put hydro mulch seed on there. So hopefully
Something happens.
something will grow. I don't know. I mean, it should be pretty fertile soil for here, as fertile as we can get it. And so I'm hoping that this spring we should have some grass.
and I'll just say this on behalf of working with Kurt about it. He was on it when I asked him to move the berms and to smooth out the dirt that was big piled up from the previous. He removed all the trash. He got a crew in immediately, and we can all see what it looks like now, but now that we are moving forward, you did a great job on that. So I'm glad you did it.
It was $100,000 painful, but
That's the business you're in. Yeah.
So where's the view?
The new sidewalk is right where your finger's running up and down the street. That's the street and the sidewalk.
Actually, the ends of these buildings.
The back elevation, same as the project.
And
Are you right at the minimum for parsing on this, or do you have?
No, it's-
You have some flexibility.
and it actually also receives open space in just on this property here. So we do not need to have land from this side of the road to supplement the green space.
Because the reason I'm asking is if you were at the minimum and then you had something for.
But if you don't get it,
Something that changes, you don't have to modify it, so it doesn't sound like it's good.
the sides of the buildings need. That's.
At a time, because we should have to record. this. And it's just for player. So that's questions. Yep, I just need everything on the recording, so if everybody's talking, did you have a question, Betsy? No? Okay, that's what you guys.
Oh, we were just asking, or I asked if it was at the minimum for parking and said, no, there's already some excess in here, so if something changes. Then he doesn't have to completely redo the site plan to get an extra spot or two in there.
Okay.
There are two dumpster locations shown. I only see two, but that's what you've determined is adequate for this. Looks like they're both within the aisles, so they don't have to move.
And when we bring the landscape, then we'll show all the things involved.
So these are the only two dumpsters right here?
And there's two over here.
Correct, so there's a dumpster
Oh,
for 25 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. And they're into the aisles, so trucks can actually get to them.
Yes.
I think what Betsy was beginning to ask about was the view from the street. And the view from the street becomes the back of building 8, the sides of building 2 and building 1. Building 4 and 6, you're going to see, but your real view is 8 and 2 and 1 and the back of your dumpster locations.
Essentially enclosed.
Yeah, they're close.
Yes, but I'm gonna say, so how they're enclosed is going to matter to us, matters to us.
We did a
anyway.
phenomenal job in Montrose. We actually stoned it around
I was gonna say, because you're right.
in Montrose.
Okay.
Montrose.
Everyone said
Yeah, like a hot sheet or what?
yeah, and that we would definitely do the same thing that we did down there, because it's actually looks really nice. It actually, the brick, the rock that we put matches what was on the side of the buildings, the apartment buildings. And now we'll be putting nice gates on it.
Cool. And that's already built there?
It is,
So if you're gonna do that here, then you have photos of that.
yeah, exactly. And we'll, yes, and we'll show you exactly, but we haven't got the gate on it yet, but the basic structure is there. And I think, given the visibility, as Cindy said, I think it's probably important that we do have the can drive very well.
That's fine.
And the rear of the building has interests. The one thing I'm looking at is the sides of the building. Because those sides are going to be very visible. And is there something that we can do to enhance the sides?
Can you hear that, Paul?
I'm looking at it now. We definitely can explore it. I'm just trying to come up with an idea.
Yeah. You know, maybe even if it's shutters.
Well, are we gonna have a screen? This is air conditioning. These boxes,
That's correct.
is it gonna be a screen? Okay.
We'll have that in the landscape plan, if you don't mind, it's just,
Yeah,
Well, yeah, we always do that.
if you change this plane up here to something, I'm on A1.5.
Mhm.
Right?
And then they want to fix something.
And I'm on the left side elevation, just as an example.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So I'm thinking maybe a belly board across there that's wide.
just to break that whole.
Yep. And then
Nice.
do something with this top that's different siding than this.
Yeah, the gable area.
That would break it up, you know,
Yeah.
like shingles or whatever. I mean, just something to break that.
Yeah, it's a pretty big mass. Those are the sides you're seeing from the
The
street.
street,
Yes.
That's-
You know, this could be beautiful and you say, that's really nice.
but
If that's what you're driving at 75 miles an hour. down I-70.
Yeah, but that's what you are seeing. from-
No, I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying.
You could even do vertical siding like you do here.
Right in the middle of
Right in the
it.
middle there.
You know, it might look good to do vertical siding on these. It's a relatively low, wide building in the lap siding makes it look wider.
Like makes it look very smooth. And the pitch of that roof is, I'm looking at the roof. What is it, a 412?
It's 412, which is really fun.
Which is really flat. And on the front, the little gables off of the extensions are not 412. What are they, 6?
712.
6, oh,
Seven.
7?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the gables are fine, but the 412 really looks flat.
Yes, it looks very flat. So
It's looking at 3D.
Where you go.
oh, it's the ones in the air.
Yeah.
It's the bird side.
Okay, 1.9.
Oh, bird side. The bird side to the favor to the side, it's the bottom one of appearing to the elongated because of where the bird is sitting. But that's that's not what you're gonna see as you go by it. You're gonna be on the ground level with it. I mean,
the pitch could be increased, I think that would help too.
It would probably help with the snow shelling and everything else, the drainage.
I think we're concerned about just overall height. That we didn't want, so how this is set up is by the same height, I believe, Paul, than the townhouses.
What is it, 27.4?
Yes, I think that's right.
We can increase the pitch a little bit, you know, whether it's a 5 or a 612. It wouldn't be out of scale with the townhomes.
Okay, because it would be nice to increase the pitch, but it would be nice to do something vertical, and I leave it to the.
The only other comment I had is regarding the windows on the front. I gather those are sliders.
Right.
They're,
It'd be nice if they could be all the, you know, double hung small ones, just put two next to each other.
They look
I
like
don't
they've
know what
got,
that would do with egress and all that, but
yeah,
You want them to go up and down
or
or all the same?
or you could,
rather than have the big square window,
have two.
you have two of the vertical style windows. Which would be more.
Two
in keeping with what
separated
we see
windows.
around town.
So it'd be two separate
Kind of more
windows,
like
but
this
like
one?
6 inches,
Like that one, but two of these beside each other?
yeah, like 6 inches apart instead of two butted together.
Yeah, but if they're sliders, then they would
If
be.
they're sliders.
Yeah, I mean, sliders, yeah.
Yes, but why do they have to be sliders?
don't they just have?
But the one thing we
divided?
don't want to have things that are,
You don't want to
hanging out.
No, but
Because
No.
we need those screens, get them out there, the rocks are flying.
Yeah.
It's-
Double hungs don't
You
hold
need
it.
Double is like this.
Double hungs lift up.
Yeah. So the reason we didn't do single hungs there is on the front elevation, those single hungs that are in the dark gable element, they're 5 foot tall, and we didn't want the sliders to be taller because those are the hierarchy in the gable. And to meet egress, we would have to widen them a foot. And in the last DRC, there was comments that you wanted them as vertical as possible. And so that's kind of the balancing act we're juggling with there.
I don't understand what I was just told.
What, if I understood what you're saying is if we were to put two double hung side by side, they would not meet the egress requirement because wouldn't be too small.
Correct, and so it would widen them. And they would
Yeah.
then be more horizontal in an aspect ratio instead of the square or the vertical that was
Yeah.
desired.
That's what I suspected is why you went this way, but
Yeah, but they've drawn a line in them, so they try to look like they're double.
Each slider, so it looks like a double hook.
Yeah, so
They've done that.
Just simulate double hung on the sliders with a bar, divider.
Yeah, that's a simulated one.
And it has a wide enough center.
no, I mean, the center would be whatever, pretty much as represented, I would think.
Yeah.
The vertical, because
That's
the two parts need to meet.
And on the end, you do have double hung windows
So these ones in the gable, these
on
ones.
the ends of the building? Are those actually double hung windows? These?
They look like.
They're single hung. But they are wider, so those are 6 inches wider than half the front windows.
Yeah. Okay.
They're one of the ones, so. And what does our quote unquote rock look like? Giving you rock the sample?
With a 3-hour drive today to get this in Denver at his office. So we did different schemes. So we went 5 different color schematics for the exterior. So keep obviously the roof and the ceiling stone, but you have different coloration for the exterior.
Wait, whoa. Thank you. You mean each building's gonna have a different,
Last time we were here, the committee said that they wanted the buildings to look different.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
So
Yeah, so we don't have
six,
five
like-
identical buildings.
So we came up with 5 schematics. If you want 2 different types, 3 different types, or if you want 5 different types, we can provide that. And this is what the different colorations would look like.
do they all have the same stone?
Yes,
And the
and the
same
same roof.
Okay, so it's 5 different paint
Yep.
schemes.
so
Not that
this,
different.
the stone for the outside?
Yes, there's
Stone.
stone all here. I
Yes, but you've got different stones.
think it's all the same stone, it's just a different, how
Different color.
they come together.
Yeah, so when you have that many different schemes, to not make it feel too cluttered, we unified the stone and the roof. And then some
Yeah.
of the colors are shared. You're just kind of playing hopscotch where they're applied on the building, and you're introducing 1 or 2 different colors for each scheme.
It complements very well.
Okay, how about this? So do we don't want 5 different looking buildings, do we?
No,
Maybe 2 or 3 color schemes?
I don't think we want 5 different buildings.
Folks, we're not supposed to discuss color anyway.
Well, we asked them to not make it.
Yes, we ask it to be earth tone.
So,
I think we achieved the earth tones, I guess now it's a function of, yes, if you want 2 or 3, 2, doesn't matter,
okay,
it really doesn't matter to us.
they are very similar. They're not gonna be like a pink one.
No.
Can we see this where it says overlap? Okay, so we actually have some wood tone looking.
Here's, I'll show you.
Oh.
That's it.
So this is the lap siding. How do we feel about the wood tone lap siding? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
the new stuff.
would we prefer it to just the painted siding, or we want some to have wood tone and some not?
I mean, I'd like to see, some variation between the buildings. I mean, they're all gonna be the same shape.
Yeah.
All gonna have the same railings, all gonna have the same,
Stone,
columns, so your different siding elements could be different colors
Yeah,
or different,
yeah,
basically it's all the same materials, just the finished on material.
Right.
okay. Well, I say,
but do we want to maintain what is light and what is dark?
not necessarily. Be light on one building, and dark on another one.
Yeah, I tend to favor dark over light, but that's personal preference.
But parts of them are light, and parts of them are dark.
Yes, but I'm saying that what the dark does is accent the certain parts of the building.
Yeah,
So, and if you. And what we are saying is that one building stays, one is consistent. We're not painting this part of this one color and this part of this another color.
no,
No, it's gonna be consistent, one building would be the same,
Would be
and I think you'll find it,
Do you
look,
want to stay with the dark in the, something darker in the projected parts?
it may be interesting as you guys were speaking, to have something dark that goes in between here, so that it breaks up that whole wall,
Yeah,
but it's consistent with the front.
yes. Yeah, because, we do want to have it all broken.
Cindy, all the board and batten is the same color. Here. So it's all this dark.
Okay, so if the board and bat
Board and bat is the
stays
same on all of them.
consistent, then you're just shifting.
Can you just give an overview of the different schematic and what these three, where these three colors go in materials
So,
on the board, on the
so the
material?
lap is the lap siding, obviously,
Yeah, let me,
and then this is the fashion.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah. So. I'm thinking, I don't particularly want that on the fashion that was like that stuck on color. It's gonna be really light.
Yeah, provided it doesn't suddenly show up as white.
This is one of the siding colors, the lap colors, and I think that one's too light too.
I mean, it's easy to, follow, there's 1, 2,
Yeah, so I was just saying that would kind of rule out maybe those
these two lighter, this is a little bit grayer and a little bit darker, so it
Uh-huh.
would be a little bit more subtle.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we do like the textured lap.
My format on the screen is a little different than I think what's in front of you. But in general, the main elements are the vertical, which is labeled the board and batten.
That's this on all of them.
It
The,
should be the unifying, we need
Yes.
some unifying elements in this, you know, we may not want to look a whole like,
Well,
but something has to
the
be
roof
unified.
And the stone is all the same. And then-
So, you know,
and here's the
Yeah.
peak pieces.
Then I'm not so worried.
Right.
and so
Okay.
it's either the lap siding or the board and bat. Those are the colors that are changing. The soffit panel is, or the trim, those are, or the fascias, those are just accents that we labeled for clarity, but they match the others.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess it'd be helpful if we just had a favored schematic that you guys
Okay.
want to see. I mean, like I say, there's 5 buildings. On the site plan, clearly we could, you know, it's 3 different here and these two are something of the same, you know, whatever you think would be the right,
I see these two sort of looking the same.
Basically, it's the lap that changes the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah, yeah,
Basically the same.
yes.
Yeah.
yeah, they're all.
Just slight subtle difference.
Slight subtle differences, yeah, but I-
We recognize the difference.
Yeah. So it's not a drastic difference with all the schematics.
No,
Uh-uh.
it's not,
Other than the sign.
no, it's not.
Okay, so does everybody have this sheet?
Yeah.
Okay, so that bottom one, the siding, the soulmate color, looks pretty purple to me. And
It could be, yeah,
I
it could be a problem.
Yeah, I would say like, kind of like, not like to see that one. Do you see what I'm talking about on here?
It's on the back.
It's the bottom one.
No, I just handed these out. Bob has one there. so-
Yeah.
We can share.
Okay, so I'm gonna give it to her.
should get rid of the-
Get rid of the purple one, it's out.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so is that, it will, shall we mark that out?
Yep.
And we're
it's
just
gone.
gonna give you our druthers.
No, that's great.
Okay,
You got the alpaca twice, you got the lap as well as the,
yeah,
Soft.
and that one's, I think
And I
that
like
show
that
like,
color.
you do or don't. You
I do,
Oh, okay.
you know,
But I don't like the, this one's lighter than that. the purple.
Yeah, I swear it's gonna be too light.
It's optical.
Well,
Because the downspouts are gonna be alpaca too then, right?
Yeah, but that's the one I'm afraid is just gonna go
Or-
super light.
If the
Depending on
fascia,
where they are,
if the fascia is white, then the downspouts
Yeah.
are gonna be white
Yeah.
too.
We ran into that with
That's the
stuff.
term.
We had stuff. with the wall
oh, okay,
off,
so it's not a whole
and it
lot.
Became.
It's not the whole line. Yeah, the stuff over is white.
That's what I'd be worried about with the-
I like the wood.
And this is
Yeah.
all, I mean, it's all the same, so
oh, pretty much, is it the same color?
but this-
yeah,
The first row is, yeah.
this is all the same color.
Well, okay.
That's on the.
And that's, what's that on? That's on the
That-
board and bat? Oh, yeah.
That is all the same
Oh,
color.
it's all the same color. All right. So that-
Maybe the alpaca got a little darker.
But-
Oh, it's like the-
No, these.
I think it's too much.
That and that isn't.
This one's different.
Yeah, these two are
This
different.
is porcupine. This is urban bronze, this is urban bronze,
Yeah.
and this is urban. So there's rated, so
Yeah, we like the woods.
There's 3 here.
You like this?
with the lakes.
Like the-
Yeah.
Wood
Except
texture.
for these two.
Well,
These are the same. Yes.
These two.
Here's your camera.
They have
Yeah.
letters, right? I think on my list, F is going away.
What is this?
Yeah,
for?
that's going last.
This is the sign, and what is this?
This is,
So what I'm asking is, in these legislations, we do not have a wood component in.
That's the siding.
So that's sort of, could be somewhat of a deciding factors. You guys like this wood component,
Yes,
Mhm.
that's these two schemes.
Right.
yes.
So it may be
let's do those schemes.
This, those two things.
And then, so we'll have.
And if you want this a little dark, we can easily put that over here, you know.
Right, that.
Have it a little
this is
darker.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I like
for the caution, it's okay. It's for the siding, the lap that I
Okay.
don't like it up here.
So we'll have it more of this and this, and we'll just have this.
So we just want those two schemes with the wood texture.
B and C.
I think the wood texture really it just shows off so much better than the flat.
It gives it a little bit of different texture, you know, it's just not all stuck out.
Right, it's not all the same color, it just.
Little
That's
texture.
gonna be the huge sides too, so that's what you'll see on the side of the building.
And I think the side, Paul will do something, try to do a little bit of a study and we'll come back with something for that. We'll send it.
Yeah.
Just to break it up somehow.
So because the back is, just see the back.
And then the side.
I think this is.
It's just those sides and we'll see.
Was it, okay.
And especially when you turn the buildings, which I think is very
Now
nice.
that we've seen these,
Yeah.
the sides are gonna be this wood texture, correct?
Correct.
And the
And
parking
then
lot.
we're still talking about in some kind of vertical.
Breaking it up in some way, I think would still help.
No, it doesn't choose.
You know,
It really gets.
Look the studies and they'll come up with something on that.
Right.
But break it up.
And then just to clarify, this color you would like a
See
little bit
where he
darker.
is?
Darker outside.
We're ready.
Okay, so let's
I'm concerned it's gonna look white when it gets in.
We actually have the space between
gray in there.
the
Yeah,
road edge and to put in a sidewalk. It gets very tight
That color
down here.
here,
It gets
That's what
almost
it's all about.
impossible because you see they're out.
yeah, nothing else is
Essentially,
that light.
this is the right of way. They're really out.
I'm gonna do my.
So it's very hard to try to get a
And then-
sidewalk.
The joint front on that. It's aesthetically nice.
We have no problem, we have no problem with Excel in a couple of polls.
I think we'll use this scheme B and scheme E. We'll darken this.
Yeah, the pussy willows.
I'm for it.
They're pretty. So they're not gonna, this is the biggest difference is the two shades of the,
that's not a big difference.
no, they're really all still gonna look very similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's, you know, like you don't want it to
No,
like
it's just.
stick it down, so it's a little bit of, little weird.
Okay. I like the look.
Sean had a good idea. What if that was a trim color on one of them?
Switch that out with the alpaca. From the retreat sort of grand.
Yeah. see, that's a good idea.
Oh, okay. You're exactly right.
Instead of alpaca, okay. Okay. So we have two color schemes. They all have the wood texture lap.
And we'll keep that, here in the office so that, you know, everyone knows we're gonna be consistent.
Well, yeah, now. With the two,
We can update it.
I think it should be updated though with the two scenes.
Yeah, we,
So on the colors, are there any swappings or is it the B and E schemes unchanged?
I'll send you a summary of what.
Okay,
You know, it's the scheme B and scheme E.
B and E, the color,
But this is.
The alpaca color and scheme E is gonna be switched with this retreat color in scheme D.
okay.
Nice.
And we are going to want to see that landscape plan.
of course.
Our landscape architect has just got back from vacation yesterday, so he's gonna start working on
It's
that.
taken so long.
It will be also inclusive with all the dumpster enclosures, all the lighting plan. You do have already a starting to work on the lighting.
I just wanted to run these by you guys. I know we missed the mark on lighting in the past, but just for the exterior direction that we're going.
Yeah, because the bulb is recessed.
Yeah.
And they are full cut off.
And that's kind of the direction we're going with lighting.
What is that?
Stairs.
No, the green area. Start
Oh.
right there. Or is that a Revit thing?
That's the
I think-
back.
I think that, yeah, I think
That's
that's.
a Revit thing.
The lights, fixtures are,
But we don't want the shiny ones, do we?
what?
We don't want these shiny lights.
Well,
No, they'd have
no,
to, no,
either architectural black or.
they have to be the black.
Just a matte black.
Yeah, they can be the white and you can't have the metal.
No, matte black.
Okay,
I didn't know that.
all right.
Well, we're getting there,
Yeah.
most
Um,
definitely.
Maybe
I think that-
revisit the side elevation. Just been kind of drawing
Oh, yeah.
something that increases the roof pitch and brings in that accent color. The banding with the windows kind of plays off of what's going on with the entries at the front there.
Doesn't do anything for your center though.
Yeah, still want to break something right down the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will explore that.
Horizontally, you're talking about. right?
I do like the roof
No.
pitch though.
Vertically.
What's each to you? Oh, yeah.
Corrugated steel.
There's something in the middle to break that up.
Yeah, drop something straight down from the center of the gable.
Rusty steel.
He's not kidding.
Oh, no, I'm not, you know, I mean, you done that quite a bit recently in time, it really works. It breaks things up and, you know, it has a vertical
Texture.
look to it.
Maybe get a little pop out, even if it's 6 inches.
Yes, yeah,
Right,
just-
right through the center.
I took it was a fake pop out,
That's right.
just something to give us some dimension.
Okay, those sides are gonna be this wood textured siding now, so what are you talking about the pop out being, something different? More than that?
Rusty
Yeah.
steel.
Here's a bright, think about it.
Yeah, no, I'll think about it, but thank you for the incremental feedback there.
Yeah.
So it's not just a flat wall.
But the gable is just much
The
nicer.
windows are not bright white trim on here, are they?
Well,
Everything's
We can
dark.
specify a tan.
Okay. Because everything's dark except the window trim.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to.
yeah, maybe I can put a white
Lighter
window
than
trim
the
on.
lights.
Those don't get added for another 25 years.
Being me, I'm not gonna worry about that. Being me, I'm not gonna make. them
Okay,
25, and you do.
Something bronze, don't actually dark.
That plans.
Yeah.
For us to just keep things moving, is this site plan an acceptable site plan?
I think so.
I believe
Yeah,
so.
I think it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I because we'll definitely have our engineers get started. I mean,
We're down to the details.
I want to start more, I'd start tomorrow if I could. Lunch, shovel, pick out the team ready.
Save your rocks for landscaping. He'll probably find it for you.
You told us to kick them out. We have a stack of them.
You're still so. There was wrong. We got rid of them. That was the same.
We call that a little place.
So what is our process from here, though? Because we're not, at this point, we're not complete enough to issue a certificate.
I guess we need a list of what we still need for further, well, I mean, you can start with approval of the site plan for what you want to do right now, so.
Yeah, but
To approve the
it's-
project going forward, we still need details on, well, we have several changes here that we made, and. I don't know, what else do we need?
because we're not issuing a certificate for a site plan.
Right,
And so at this point, all we can really do is say, yes, this site plan is acceptable to this commission and when we, so please continue. And when we have all the detail, when we have the landscape plan in hand and,
So when we'll finalize what we discussed tonight.
yes.
We'll bring also a landscape
Yes.
in.
What do we know about drainage?
You're able to do a COA at that point.
Yes, we should be able to.
And did we have drainage from the first plans? Was the drainage already?
It was already designed and everything. We will have it
Thing.
But
completely reviewed
yes,
and brought to
So we
you
have-
so that you just,
so we have the drainage.
right, we will definitely have it revised
Okay.
in any way that's needed.
What I will also do, just to make sure the process is gonna run smooth, we'll send it to our planner consultant, because we have a new one now. When we're not using Martin Landers,
Okay,
and we will make sure that this will go and find out whatever else is missing. So the other thing that I just want to make sure, because I put it on the staff note and it is conditional, because it has to be, in order for this, because it's a funky district. And it has to line up everything. So this is not like the normal districts. But there's two things that have to be corrected, which is, and you and I have already talked about this, but just to remind you. This is from Martin, Jerry, Dahl, and myself meeting to discuss how can we make this thing work and go. And the first part was because there's an SIA and a development agreement that's incomplete from the very beginning, because it's not what it was from the beginning, because it's moved. These were the choices that the team decided on. Either upgrade the hospitality townhomes, the current ones, so that they would be compliant to Wyndham standards, so that they can be rented through the hotel, which is what the development agreement said. Because they're not done the way Wyndham wants them to do. So right now, Wyndham is not managing, which is now it's non-compliant according to the original development plan. Or the second option would be dissolve the restriction covenants of those 11 units. Because that's on the plat, there's notes that say that these are deed restricted, they would have to be dissolved. So that now that can correct the whole thing, because as long as that's incomplete, it throws off the whole thing.
right.
So that was the determination from Martin, Jerry, and myself of either make the hospitalities the way that Wyndham needs them so that they can manage them on their site, which is going to be expensive. It's going to cost you more than $100,000. Or you dissolve the deed restrictions, which means that the hotel won't manage them and that they will all have to comply if they want to be short-term rentals to the town system, because right now they're an exception. And they kind of,
Thing.
there's no way to regulate it right now. So
Okay.
the intention was great. It just didn't happen the way that it was
So
designed.
it's not set up correctly.
Correct.
Not that we need to, I did have a conversation with Brittany.
Yeah.
She's willing to go either direction. It doesn't matter to
Yeah,
her.
and I too have expected with it.
And so I think that that's something that we need to just get all the parties together and
Yeah.
decide what the best way of proceeding.
But one of the issues for
Yeah.
this commission has been that the commission has been sort of issuing approvals with the stipulation that they straighten out other things.
Yes.
And we have been sort of requested to not do that. We've more than requested, if our ordinance goes through, it's going to say that the commission cannot basically do that. That what we can say is that in our conceptual review and in our preliminary reviews, we look favorably upon your plot plans and the rest of your plans, but in a sense, we can't issue certificates with other outstanding.
The challenge and legal issues.
Correct. We have to resolve in the planning commission, because it's a conflict. So this design, they're doing their thing, but we had to do a staff report showing that there's still inconsistencies, so that at least the planning commissioners and you're both on the same page, that there's still conditions that have to be met.
Yeah,
For us too, I mean, we can facilitate, but I have no ownership in the 11 townhomes. I really have no control over anything that's going on in those 11 townhomes. And I don't own the hotel, so I can't control the hotel. So
But you
we
do,
will facilitate, I understand people, like, we know, we'll coordinate. I think that the group needs to get together so that everyone comes to an agreement.
Has the fire marshal looked at these?
Not.
They looked at them before, we'll show them, right.
Yeah, I would suggest that we make that something that he has to sign off on, just to make sure.
We can give him the plans, tomorrow.
but am I hearing Rick correctly that this cannot go forward while the other is still in legal process?
No, your design part is part of the DRC. It's just part of the zoning stuff that didn't line up. You know, like, we're tasked by the staff to look at zoning so that you're not in conflict.
Yeah, but that's the answer the question
Could you issue a building permit
on
for
this.
this without this other stuff?
I don't know. I can't answer.
That's where, I think that's the question, but that's really what drives, until any roadblocks to issuing a building permit that are known, until they're resolved, we
We shouldn't be
shouldn't be
issuing.
issuing a COA.
Yes. I think that was made pretty clear. Even
And that's where we're
listening
headed with the new regulations.
That's right.
Okay, and Rick, one last thing on the townhomes, if that agreement is dissolved or changed, those townhomes aren't eligible to all be short-term rentals in town.
Only one or two possibly.
Yeah, there's a permit involved and we limit those numbers.
Yeah,
But
I know it very well.
Okay,
how is that process related at all to this process?
it's all part of the same property, right?
Yes, it's all part of the same development. And
And
so,
so it is all part of the same development agreement that has to be changed.
correct. Yes, that's why it's funky, is because yes, though the hotel is no longer, you're not under the ownership, but the whole development was part of it. So it had to be a balance. So to keep the balance, the hotel's still included in this with the commercial component. Now we have a residential. And so this townhomes, because it's the developmental agreement was part of that, it's now incomplete. Like, it's non-compliant because it wasn't, it's not the finished product.
I really think it's going to be a pretty simple process. And I think that,
Okay.
Brittany was more than willing to go either direction. It just, how
And she's already the same thing.
And so we can go, get a letter from Brittany to send to the 11 townhomes. You can do one of that. Here's option one and option two. You need to make a decision.
Yeah.
And if it's where they're going to keep it as rentals through the hotel, it's got to be through the hotel. It doesn't have a third party doing it.
What that means, though, if it's gonna be under Wyndham, Wyndham has a standard that every room should look like.
Yeah.
And so all these homeowners now would have to convert their rooms to make it the standard, because if one doesn't do it, then none of them can do it. It's a package deal.
So I would venture a guess. So as far as our action tonight, what do we want to have as an action?
We're not doing it, actually.
Well, yeah, I don't think we're making an actual motion here.
We give them a list of what we'd like to see.
This is like another cycle.
Preliminary.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I was hoping is at least we could get maybe conditional approval on the site plan so we can get the engineering going. I mean, that's a month.
We
can't do that formally, but
You have an unofficial approval from us, that it's the agreement between us.
That we did.
The site plan.
No.
Well,
Well, the site plan's part of.
but this is
Okay, yes,
what we're willing to work with going forward is this site.
because we have sightings for site plans, in all of our districts.
But
So,
we can't issue a
No.
segment of the CLA just for the site.
no.
But the conceptual is fine.
Yeah, conceptual.
It was the townhomes that haven't been complete.
Well,
Yeah. We didn't get the fires at it. I need to get a planner, is that a new planner, find out what else is
No, you can't.
necessary for this,
How do we get?
so that we can.
That's the new workers up there. So-
We'll be ready to go.
Guys, what I don't need, like, okay.
With the new.
That's
disaster stuff. And hopefully, you know, a landscape plan.
So but Kurt made an application as an application. So at this point, I would say that we're tabling this application.
Okay,
That there are some elements that still need to be brought to it, but there is a favorable view to its site plan and overall plan.
okay, so.
Should list the
continue.
things we need, like the landscape.
I've had the ends of the two buildings, well, the ends of all the buildings. The roof pitch would be changed, the end of the building to have a change in its horizontal aspect with some sort of vertical emphasis. Landscape plan, drainage plan, fire marshal approval, and then the resolution of this zoning issue with the townhouse.
And I mean, we could include a statement that, you know, we're in general agreement with the site plan.
Yes, we are in general agreement to site plan.
And the mullions on the windows.
So that's what I'm putting in my motion to table
Okay.
that list.
Would you repeat that?
What she said.
What she said. What she said. What we're doing.
You wouldn't mind doing that? Yeah. Oh, we should take.
Is there a second, Dr. Cindy?
No.
I'll second it.
All right, you have no discussion, guys.
That's right.
All in favor?
I appreciate all the comments. And all your help. This is very helpful for us.
Good.
Okay.
All your input will create a great plan, I think. Yeah.
You want me to keep the big plans?
Yeah, and just the part.
Yeah, he'll look at it. Fire hydrant, rotate things or whatever. Okay, if you want to look at, oh, sorry, is there anyone for later on here?
I don't know, but you don't know, there's one. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one. What are they? I think there's two on by the apartments.
Yeah.
I don't make it.
There's one, I think, one right here. We can go and double check, but I know there's three is there. Rick Hilbert is on.
Don't you get mad at me?
What's that?
I say
He'll be
something.
concerned about getting his trucks in and out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's why I think he originally, they approved this plan with his original road.
Okay,
So I think
this is the
he
same as before.
We have to.
We gotta
continue
continue
this. And it's another subject. Everybody take one of these and I should pass them around, please.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The other thing we added to our agenda was the discussion of what happened at the Board of Selectmen meeting relative to ordinance 5, which contained in it the provision of a floor in the historic area of a floor area ratio of 0.3. And also contained in ordinance 5 was the discussion of when we issue certificates relative to other requirements for a project. And the discussion centered around both of those issues. I think there was fairly uniform agreement, certainly. The DRC was represented by Bob Hamilton, Betsy Blakesley, Sean Platt, and myself.
Thank you.
And Dwayne Kaczynski was there as chairman of the planning commission. The selectmen had a number of questions. I was gonna say on the issue of procedural issues. I think everybody is on this same page, that we need to clarify and be really clear, and that while people have to come here or can come here for potential for looking at a preliminary, that we cannot say we will issue a certificate of appropriateness contingent upon some other commission, because that places a really undue burden on the other commission. If there are other issues to be resolved, they need to be resolved before we formally issue a certificate of appropriateness. And Rick, am I doing this straight? Okay, that's the way that one really came down. And it is because there have been times when we have said to people, you know, all right, if the Board of Adjustment agrees, it puts incredible pressure on the Board of Adjustment and the applicant. Well, the applicants don't confess to this. The applicants sit right in front of them and say, well, we already have the permission from the DRC. So that one, I think we're pretty clear on. Rick said he would have Barbara Cole, who is the new planner from Community Matters, take a look at how this whole system works in that fashion, and essentially try to do a plot out. So flow chart of this is the way it happens, because we intentionally have put into that other commissions need to ask the DRC what their opinion is on their commission's decision, but we shouldn't be throwing in our own. You know, I hope that we will retain the fact that the DRC is asked to advise the Board of Adjustments and stuff, but we've been trying to help the applicants so they don't have to come back twice. Is what we've been trying to do, but it has not always been viewed that way. The FAR is being viewed by a couple of our developers as a very, personal attack upon their development. Actually, it isn't. It is about small houses and big houses, and whether we put big houses on small lots, and whether we preserve the nature of what you're looking at in front of you. Basically, the numbers only represent contributing and non-contributing structures, and that's not truly the question. The question is size. And one of the things that the Board of Selectmen really sort of wants to know is, so what is the issue? And in essence, we walk through it every single day, but people don't see it. The majority of houses in this historic district, the majority of them are small houses. Our guidelines on and I hope everybody reads them really carefully, on the historic residential district, read the verbiage that leads into that historic residential district, because it describes it really well. We have a majority of smaller homes with some larger homes mixed in. We don't have groups of larger homes. And that's what we're trying to sort of say. And our larger homes, most of them, though there are a couple of exceptions, most of them sit on larger lots also. Now, there certainly are a couple of exceptions to that rule. And the reason that we came up with the 0.3 is because it does correspond to this. I don't think that the board realizes the number of houses that we have whose square footage is 2,000 square feet and less in livable space. Because unless you're in this business, you don't have any concept of that. I mean, I live in a 1.5-story house that looks like a regular size house. It's 1,500 square feet, folks. It's not a big house. And so this is my idea, and I'm going away, but I have a computer so I can get on Clear Maps so I can actually do this accurately, but some of it you can just do visually. I want to go through, because all the houses show here. It doesn't matter whether they're contributing or even new. They all show here. The thick numbers are the ones that have been built after 1907, please. So some of them are fairly old. But the little numbers are all contributing resources. They were all built before 1907. All of those little numbers were, and the bigger numbers were built after. But as I say, some of them, well, if you look at Griffith Street down by the park, the backside of the Griffith Street was all built in the 20s and 30s. But it's now 100 years old. I mean, it's just, it doesn't fit our historic period. What I want to do is put a red circle around all of the ones that are less than 2,000 square feet.
That'd be interesting.
Because what I want to be able to say to the board is this visually is what the historic district is. And it would give them a visual component. And I might be able to use some help in doing that.
So these are square footages on here?
No, those are the Smithsonian numbers.
Oh,
So we should be able to look up on.
ClearMap.
what is Smithsonian numbers?
When we
The register.
did a whole registry of all of our houses to decide which ones were contributing and which ones were not contributing.
Oh, so that's I didn't find number at the front of the Excel chart.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, because and so in order to do that, we had to give the whole town numbers. So you could say these are so that's why I say the ones that are in the small print are contributing resources. They are the ones that are built prior to 1907. And still have enough of their visual qualities to count them as contributing. And the ones that are in those thick numbers have been built since then, but this doesn't.
So they should be contributing.
Well, no, they cannot be officially, you cannot be officially contributing to this landmark district unless you were built before 1907.
That's the period of our history.
If we wanted to, and we should.
We could update it, I guess then.
No, we can't update, we can update it from a town's point of view. From the federal government's point of view, 1907 is a solid cutoff date. But what we've never done is the next step and saying, what do we
The next
consider?
50 years.
But the next 50 years, because we've talked about it. We can do a local designation, and this commission is empowered to do that. We can say, hey, you have these that belong to the mining period, and we have these that belong to the later period that are also of we have some mid-century modern, we have some Swiss chalet, we have some stuff that's really worth. Well,
Right.
our library is not considered a historic structure, but even our list would say. But the question here isn't. The question here now is size. It's sort of proving the point, because what's going to happen is that people are going to say, well, this town has a floor area ratio of 4. This town has a floor area ratio of 5, and we should do those kinds of things. Well, other towns aren't our town. We're talking about what exists here.
And the key is the criteria that is set forth in our guidelines of what the historic district should be.
Should look like.
So, I mean, when we have the public meeting, we should really focus on getting everybody on the same page that this is the mission statement for DRC.
And planning.
And for the town, this is the mission statement for the town to uphold the National Historic Landmark District requirements.
And its character. And they typically a typical parcel anyway, it's on page 7, page 8, and page 9 of your of book 2.
Okay.
But we do have to be able to demonstrate, because people believe the houses are bigger than they are. It's an optical illusion thing, and people look at it and say, oh, you know, I'm sure that house is 25.
Well, the other thing though is you can get from the clear act, you can get the square footage of the property and the house that's on it.
And the living space, no, that's what I did, when I did that analysis, I did
Does it
the
actually say, let's,
square foot of living area, they don't count garages.
okay, is that where I was?
And that's what a FAR is the square foot of living area. So yes, if I have the time to bring every single one of these up, but if somebody would be willing to take a section.
I'll be willing to take a section and put a spreadsheet together and send it to you.
That would be great, if people are willing to take a section.
Do we have a good background like this that we could do it in PDF that has good detail?
You mean a background like this that we could get these numbers off? I don't know how
Jennifer
that
can
we,
scan this.
I don't know,
I mean, with.
I don't know how we get the numbers off of it.
I can get numbers off, but I just mean the town plan with all the building outlines shown.
We don't have a town plan, that's why I picked this one. We do not have a town plan with all the buildings shown. This one shows all the buildings because we had to do it up. But obviously, we had all the buildings before we put the numbers on it. And this thing is on a disc. And so I don't know how you can get in and manipulate that.
I can manipulate stuff if I have the background.
But in any
I wonder
case,
if Clear Creek could help. I mean, if you contacted their GIS department, they may be able to.
Because if we had a good high resolution background, we could put all this information on the plan and then it's easy to see and then you can color code it or whatever you want to do with it.
They could do that in mapping, I would think.
but the mapping, our map, this does not come out of our, I don't know where it came from.
County.
It says that the Clear.
No, these numbers are not on these aren't the numbers that are on Clear Map. Clear Map numbers would relate to the recording, the deed recordings.
Yes, but this does say this is Clear Creek County GIS. I have no problem with getting on a plane tomorrow. So I can certainly, and Matt Taylor doesn't work until next Tuesday. The problem too is that what they decided was they do a 30-day moratorium and they would like us to discuss the issue with the Planning Commission and the DRC and welcome anybody who wants to attend to discuss the issue. I would like to suggest that we use our next meeting as that joint meeting. But you see, this is in a 30-day window to do this thing. So
So we're just gonna do the historic district, correct?
yeah, well, that's what this map is.
Is this all historic district?
It goes from 11th Street up here all the way up there. Yes, so
Okay.
basically you see where 11th Street is, just draw a line through 11th Street. That's where we are. And actually, and when you go on Clear Map, and you zoom into an area, you just tap on it and it will tell you who owns the house and asks you if you want additional details and you tell them yes.
Well, I can do some of those. You want to just email us what section you want us to do or?
Well, if somebody is willing to take, you see 6 streets right in the middle there.
Yep.
They cut it nicely.
Yep.
And, you know, if Brent's willing to take a
I'll
look
take
at what
some, but
his neighborhood is.
If we put them all together and then we can put a nice graphic together with it too.
Yes,
Would be helpful.
exactly. And if Brent, if you would do what's north of south of 6th Street and west of Rose, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Because then we could put into an Excel file and also have the numbers.
and Bob, if you would take what's
Brent is gonna do everything around the Hamel House.
well, it's
Well,
all
more than just around the house.
Yes.
yeah. Because it,
Everything on the west side of the gray line.
Yeah.
yes, the west side and the south side of the gray line.
Oh, that's a good design.
Bob, how about 10th Street North?
Yeah, where's 10th? Is that right at the,
And by the park. It's. on
this
that
one,
side. Yeah,
that's
that's
10th,
right.
okay.
Yeah, that's 10th. And if you draw a line east-west on across 10th and take everything that
I can
is,
do, I can do,
but you're only going to 11th.
yeah,
So,
not that much.
you know, that's between 10th and 11th. And are you up for this, Joan?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we continue down, if you want to do, make a line on your map from, let's go down Taos to 9th Street. And then over, so you get a whole box in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there.
You take my pen.
No.
You did.
No, I didn't.
I'm sure you did.
Went down Taos, then which way on Taos?
So I'm doing the square from 6th Street down Taos to, what is that, 9th?
Yeah,
Yeah, 9th. How about the ones that are just on the other side there on Argentine?
yes, that's part of your square.
Okay. Okay.
And your square extends 6th Street over to Argentine.
Yeah.
And that's you.
Yeah. Oh,
And you see, all of these houses, like every once in a while you'll hit something. Also, you don't have to do the commercial buildings. We're into historic residential.
okay.
So you really don't have to do and Bob's doing 10th to 11th.
Mhm.
So it's Clear Map, it's a website?
Clear Map is, you go to Clear Creek County oopsie, it has to come out all the way. The Clear Creek County Interactive Maps.
Okay.
And then it says, go to Clear Maps, and then it says, you know, if you're a registered user and log in as a guest. I've been logging in.
Just click log on.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And it'll automatically, you don't have to type in something, just click it.
Okay.
Or use it every day, every day.
But let's, you know, Brent, you don't, you know, you're not doing the county courthouse or the
That's right.
commercial district, so you're really on 5th Street.
Yeah, on 6th and Road, there's some commercial along. Yeah. Okay.
And that's Brent. And Brent, you get the ones that are in the little circle going up Guanella Pass. But there's Brent. That would be extremely helpful.
Okay.
And when would you like these done by? And
What's our deadline?
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna try to put it together, so we can present it in a way. And what we're doing is circling the ones that are 2,000 square feet and less. Does that,
On here?
yeah, yeah.
So you
So
just
you,
want us to circle the ones that are 2,000 square feet and less?
yes, and it doesn't matter what kind of number they have, it just matters how big they are.
Okay.
And you do get to leave your commercial buildings out.
I mean, I would, if you're gonna look it up on Clear Map, I would. I mean, you're gonna have the lot size right there,
We should get
You
more
gotta have
information
the-
than just
have
that.
the building size,
I would list them all.
I would,
That way.
I would list, that way we have all that information.
Yeah.
Because
Go ahead and
it's
circle
serving
the
the
ones.
floor area ratio. You need the lot size and the building size to. The living space.
So we can,
Lot area ratio.
That way you have a master list of what,
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that on the list.
okay.
but
Property.
go ahead and circle
Are you volunteering?
no.
I figured you were.
Okay.
Sean isn't either.
Oh, these guys are so busy.
Okay, well, I'll see how far I can get because I got myself a big chunk.
I mean, I can get this done, and I can do some more, so you want me to do? Down to
9th Street,
9th, or whatever that is, 9th, is it 9th?
that's 9th.
Yeah, 9th, I can do all that,
If you can do down to 9th, then I can take the rest of it
okay,
with me because I could still get to Clear Map. The computer comes along and the children go to school.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, you
so they're actually maybe better time. Because yes, I think you want the listing, Mark, but I think we also want a visual.
Yeah.
And we also want the visual to say, look, all of these,
They
because,
don't need all the other information. You just need the
yes,
simpler the better.
But
Yes,
we
and-
easily have the statistics as to what percentage are.
Are we just evaluating the square footage or the 0.3? I think we should evaluate the 0.3.
Well, we can
Yeah.
do that on a list, but we just want a visual of the circle.
yes, we want a visual of the
Yeah,
circle them out, yes.
Square footage and coverage and. what we can figure
Yeah, and then we
out.
do want to illustrate the 0.3, but one of the illustrations becomes the fact that what happens in this town is that we don't group things. I mean, they're interspersed with everything. And that's, I think, that's the heart of what's going on at the moment, is that if we develop that whole end section in large homes, we have changed the character of that whole space. And it's not in keeping with the character of the rest of the historical space. And I'm sorry people feel that this is a personal,
I think we may want to do.
Because it is.
Colored circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2,000 and less and then 2,000 and over.
right, but I want the 2000
You
and
can
less
see
be
that they're
red.
not grouped together.
Well, we were just gonna do circle the 2,000 less, and then on the map you'll see where they are. The other ones are more.
As long as it's clear. This
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
real clear.
No, it isn't, but I will get a hold of, I hadn't noticed this, and I will get a hold of Matt Taylor and see if he's got the base of this, which he probably does, because on Clear Map, you can see the outline of all the houses.
Right.
So
If he could give us a
clean,
a clear map with all the lot lines,
With high resolution and
Yeah.
manipulate.
then it'd be easy to.
yeah, that's gonna be, I mean, we can blow up to invest, I'm not gonna get that done in time for us to.
Well, maybe look right out at the.
Look at it on that.
Yeah, I'm looking at our historic districts map, and it's got, the historic residential. Well, all of them on there. We could blow up that far. It doesn't have the houses got the lots.
I know, that's,
That's what I'm with the houses
We
too.
want one with the houses, okay.
Yeah, this
we
has
have
all
to
the
have
lot
the houses.
Okay.
But-
Okay,
That one's interesting because what we eventually should do is outline where the historic commercial district is, because we're not talking about that. We're
Right.
talking about
We can
what's
just
on
do
the
that in
outside of that. Yeah, we can just do that and,
teal, Cindy, we'll do that in teal.
but I think that it's going to be important to have visual presentation because I think it's going to make the point.
Here's how the resolution on this.
Because us builders are pretty dumb, so.
No, you're not dumb at all.
But if we had the house on there.
No, but because you guys can look at a house and guess. It is well, you be in a range though, but it is the general, when you're looking at the Board of Select, they actually, because they really had no sense of what we were talking about. And that was the problem. They had no sense.
And they really had no sense either of the process that goes either.
No,
They clearly don't know what the process is
right,
to get over the permissions.
right. So the process is easier to explain, but this is a good thing to do
For the
anyway.
graphics, I think if he can help us with a file or something. Then that would at least give us a good base that we can make it look good.
Yes.
Send him my contact if he doesn't know, if he needs more information on it, we can pull something together for that.
Okay. Have you ever worked with Matt Taylor?
I don't know Matt Taylor.
Well, he's very easy to work with. He's wonderful to work with.
Okay.
So yes.
I've never heard that name. So.
Oh, and he is head of Clearfield County GIS. He's my go-to, excuse me, I needed this yesterday person. So I think that he's, he's pulled off marvelous things for Silicon Valley project, which has really been helpful. So that's.
Do we have the original for this as well, the list of the houses?
Yes.
Because then we could put that in Excel and put the numbers with that and link them together.
Well, that would be interesting.
You think?
But I don't think we need to do that before we have raised the play. I think that's I think that would be helpful for us.
Okay.
But I think we have to work fairly quickly to get ahead of what we want to demonstrate. Because there are a lot of models of other floor area ratios in other communities, but the floor area ratio should be tailored to the community you're in. It's not
It's not one fit all.
it's not a one fit all.
So can I ask a question, Cindy?
Yeah,
The date that you suggested, I think is January 26th. Is that clear that everyone wants to wait till the end of the month to have that meeting?
well, I did it selfishly. I'd like to be there.
I see.
Well, and it's gonna take time to
Yeah,
Okay.
get everything done.
Well, I will let Jen Yopsky know so she can tell the other board.
And see what they say. I mean, if they say,
That's the joint meeting where you want the public to be there too,
Mhm.
if they want to participate.
yes, but it will be a work session.
Yes, okay.
And it will be our regular meeting probably to begin with, and then a joint meeting at 7 o'clock or
that's
something
not
like that.
weekend, that's not our,
Yeah, that's our regular
oh,
meeting.
is it? Okay, so it's next.
Well, I'll talk to Jen to make sure we try to keep the schedule, the agenda manageable, so it's not super long.
Right.
Whatever it was, we could push to the next, we'll try to do that.
I mean, because that's our next meeting, the next planning commission meeting is like
Next Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it is. And
That's enough time.
we wouldn't be able to be ready by next time.
No,
Then do we need to? The public needs to know that
we have. to
they're
post it.
invited.
Yeah. we
I will reach out to such party members that want to participate, but we'll notify it to.
Yes, I mean, I think that'd be the earliest you could really do it, would
Yeah.
be the 20.
2 weeks.
26 is, yeah, the
Yeah.
30-day moratorium puts us actually just short of a Board of Selectmen meeting. But it puts us into right before their first meeting in February, which is that a calendar behind you, Sean, that's recent?
The what day of February?
Is there a Friday the 13th? No, that's not a
Can
Friday
we-
the 13th. I can go to February.
Yeah, we're at Friday the 13th. Yeah, we certainly
I
are.
don't know what day of the week we're looking for.
What day in February, Cindy?
Be the second February.
Second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday would be the 14th.
Oh, happy Valentine's.
Be perfect. I won't be here.
That date?
Yep, I'm going on a cruise.
Oh.
Somewhere between Los Angeles and Cabo.
You can zoom in.
You can see. No, it's worth it. No. You have a bunch left over to Strauss Park, that might cover it.
Yeah, but. The final record should show that we thank Bob Hamilton incredibly for
Yes.
the work on Strauss Park and, you know, in time.
Getting it done, yeah.
Yeah, in time, it's under budget. It's under budget. It was usable. And that's good. Yeah. And we're gonna have things too that's gotta happen.
Yeah, the Bob went way over. I mean, he personally wrote the Home Depots, I mean, he did.
You did the thing.
That's my idea of a managed system is
You get it
What you
done.
gotta do.
make sure that people have what they need when they need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus you had to deal with Excel. That's the biggest.
And actually, I found a really good resource at Excel, so the field engineer that covered us, Lindsay, I don't know what her last name is.
She was good.
She's young and she's excellent.
Yeah, yes, that is, you
Trying to
know,
make a,
that I should remember.
she would return phone calls and emails and go rattle other people's cages, so she did a great job.
Can we make her?
Huh?
He an evergreen?
We want her to be president of Excel. That's one thing.
I'll tell you that.
We have.
Does anybody look at the minutes?
No.
It's just me.
I wasn't here. Anybody got any changes on the minutes?
I didn't see.
I didn't see you.
Okay. motion
I
second.
make a motion to accept the minutes.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yes, okay, I got it. Never mind,
Alright,
okay.
okay, what's the list?
Great.
Oh, well, tracking items, I think we kind of touched on.
Are we done with tracking items?
The door project, we think she's just given up or whatever. The door
Is it expired?
Well, there was somebody that had already ordered a door and then they came in and it was not.
Talks are on Marlborough Street.
Yeah, and she is the one who said that they had abandoned the idea of using that door.
Okay.
So that,
So
They're off the list.
so she didn't want to be on the list anymore. Of
The
phone
house on
calls.
house, did they ever come back? Mike Huggins, did he ever come back?
He was supposed to get an encroachment license.
He's not done that.
Well, at this point, we ought to blow a whistle on Mike Huggins and say, you get an encroachment license and come to us, or in 30 days, we're gonna take down your thing.
in the dumpsters.
I got it on my list.
Okay.
I'll reach out.
Where are we at on dumpsters? What were we gonna do? I can't remember.
They told the enforcement person was gonna start to talk to people about
Oh.
dumpsters. And I don't know whether, yeah,
He's working on the Big One Crossing Apartments first, trying to get that into compliance. Which they've already come here and the lighting's here, but their lighting's still. they have to come back, I think.
Okay.
as long as we haven't
But
lost.
We'll start working on some of the other non-compliant dumpsters.
Who's he?
Ken Collins,
What's he?
he's the code enforcement officer.
Okay, so we adjourn?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're adjourned.
Maybe,
Sure.
who likes to say?
Next meeting, we'll talk about the conference.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.